welcome to the Sideline Out podcast. We're looking ahead to the senior semi-finals coming up this weekend with two massive games to look forward to. We're here in Kiss Cafe in Crossmaglen, and we obviously have the matchup of Crossmaglen against Cullyhanna on Saturday night. We're going to look first at Friday night's action, and that's Clonard against Madden, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ciaron O'Hanlon, by McConville and Paul Hearty to look ahead to all these games. And Ciaron, I'll come to you first. We're starting with Clonard and Madden. I know there's two boys chomping at the bit to get talking about Cullyhanna and Cross, but Clonard and Madden, obviously you played these two teams this year in the league, you played Clonard in the championship, so just give us a flavour of what we can expect on Friday night.
I suppose first and foremost probably be tight knit fair. Both teams control the ball really well. From playing Clonard in the championship, when they go direct, they're dangerous. Getting the ball into Conor Turbitt and runners coming off them. Madden seem to be a wee bit more control in their attacks, trying to get the ball away short and maybe Darren McMullen dropping onto the ball and getting up the field and trying to take this sting out of it a wee bit and just work their scores a wee bit better. So I think it's going to be well. We thought the games of the weekend were going to be close. So on paper, yes, they definitely look like it's going to be a tight knit affair. But I suppose we'll see on Friday night.
And by Madden, they're trying to get their first final from 1998. The semi-final's just been a bit of a bump for them the last couple of years. They haven't got over that hurdle yet. Yeah. Does that bring pressure on Friday night for Madden, or is it the fact that they're probably underdogs, they're coming up against the county champions? Is there a freedom that they can play with on Friday?
I think so. Madden has to go for it. They can't go in nervous. They shouldn't be. They're underdogs. They're not expected to win. There are people that say Madden's a good outfit. Blah blah blah. They can't get over the semi-final, the end of the final. They have to go for it. They have to take the shackles off and go at it, because there's no holding back. You don't get that many chances to get into a county final. So they're really gonna. This is it. They're a seasoned team now, Madden. They've been about. So they're good enough to compete with Clonard. So they're just gonna have to man up and go for it. And that's just it.
And Paul, in terms of Clonard in there, obviously we said Madden's trying to get their first final in a long time. Clonard's trying to win back-to-back for the first time in the club's history, and obviously you've done back-to-back numerous times at various levels. How difficult is it coming back that second year and trying to get that hunger again and trying to push on and get the trophy back again?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to what you said there, hunger. Willingness to do whatever it takes to get you over the line. And Clans have been a good team. They won the first title there a couple of years ago, and then obviously lost the next year. Didn't get the back-to-back. It's like a band coming back with the infamous second album. It's really, really hard to do if you're not seasoned at it. But Clans are a really good team. They've seasons. They've a good few lads there, good seasons under their belt at senior football now. Good players all over the field. Eagerly led by Turbot and the Cambridge and TK and that by a low. Poor Barry will be missing this weekend, I believe. It'll be a big loss to them, but they have a lot of experience all over the field now, and a good subs bench as well to come on and do a job as well. So, you'd be as Barry says here, you'd be edging for Clonard to get the job done against a Madden team who are it's a third semi-final I think in 4 years. You really need to stand up now in this weekend and give it a really 100% performance, but you'd be edging towards the Clans victory.
And Paul mentioned about Barry and Cambridge missing. Ciaron, obviously this weekend, possible final, possible Ulster run as well. It looks like he's going to be out for, and he's such an influential player for both club and county, and has been for the last couple of years. So I suppose give us your opinion on how big of a miss he is going to be for Clonard.
I suppose his leadership in organising their defence and driving them forward. They like to get the ball away early off the tee and build from the back, and he is one of their main men that does that, and then obviously likes to get on the end of it too. So apart from the leadership influence he's going to have in their gameplay, he's going to be a massive miss. He likes to get on the end of goals and stuff like that too. So yeah, huge miss for them. And even with all the squad depth that Clonard have, I think he'll be very hard to replace.
And just on the Clevie game, I know you sent Lee Rice, a defender, up to wing half forward to mark him. Like, that's just how important he is. For Madden, it's probably a relief he's not going to be there. It's one less problem to worry about.
That's it too. Like, you know, they've so many, Clonard have so many players all over the field that you have to try and take care of. So it's one less headache that, as you say, that Madden have to worry about. But look, I think Madden, you know, as Barry touched on there, they have to throw the shackles off and really give this a good go. You know, Paul said there are three semi-finals in 4 years. Like, at this stage, there's going to be fellas in that change room going, look, boys, we have to give this a rattle, and, you know, learn from what went wrong in years gone by, and really, you know, throw the kitchen sink at this game, like, because, you know, they're, as the boys said, they're getting on their season team. They have to give it a real rattle, like.
And Madden have beat Clonard in league football, bar, and I know it's completely different. They played in the last round of the league, I think, and they drew. So Madden do know that they're within touching distance. They have beaten them before in the league. So does that give them confidence that they can go ahead and do this?
Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely, like, they know the Madden know themselves. Clonard and the Championship, they're a different outfit. Madden, like, I've watched Madden, I've seen them playing again around boys, and I've seen them a couple of times in the Championship. I've been impressed with Madden, especially the long range kicking. You know, like, Madden has to fancy a chance, especially with Barry McCambridge missing out. He's a massive miss. He's one of the best players in the county. He's one of the best players the county team has. So he's a massive miss to Clonard. Yeah, Clonard is a big squad, and they will have somebody that'll come on and do a job for Clonard. But Madden have to take that as a plus and have to go at this game. Like, they can compete around the middle with Clonard. Clonard's massive out when there's this man here. We and him was chatting before that. Said they're big out there. Like, they're a big team. Madden, if they perform, they'll make this game very, very interesting. So, you know, they have to go for it.
And Paul, that midfield battle that Barry's talking about, two of the big names we're going to have out there now, Grimley and Tiernan Kelly. Now, whether they go up against each other or what way the matchup's going to work out, we're not sure. But if they do go after each other, you know, what way does that leave it in terms of, you know, trying to play their own game and put their own stamp on the game, but you also have to worry about the other man too. Like, it's a tough one for both of them.
That's it, and that's some of the compromises you might have to make in games and in certain situations. And we were just speaking earlier, as the boy said, about the kick-out routine, about how, I know when Clans came to play across up in the field, they were very good in the first 20 minutes, some of the kick-outs, and it took Cross a while to come to terms with that there, and it'll be the same this Sunday against Madden. Madden will have to come to terms with their kick-out, which is growing increasingly important in the game now, the way the game has gone. They have big men around the middle. Niall Grimley, huge, brilliant fielder of the ball. They need someone to maybe nullify him, cancel him out, and TK might be a match for that there, to, you know, in the physical stakes. But to have other big men in around the middle there too, you know, the two Grimleys and a couple of other boys. You know, you have Darren McMullen floating around there looking break ball, trying to set stuff up for the Madden lads. So, you know, there's a lot of mixing and matches to go on there. But as we said, you know, Madden would like to control the ball. They'll try to get in there, mix it up, control the ball, slow it down, let Dara get on the ball, find a pass into the forward line, support that coming off shoulders at speed, where you might see where the Clans will be more gung-ho maybe a wee bit. They'll maybe put the ball into Turbot or the top three in a bit quicker, because they have that bit of pace, that bit of experience, and the really, really good setup, you know. And, you know, we've seen Conor Turbot the last day. I think he scored 12 points, 7 points in the first half. It seems remarkable, like, you know. So they're really going to have to put the Clydes on him there at the back, you know. So Madden have a lot of homework to do. But I'm sure, you know, as you said, they drew in the last game of the league. They'll have the homework done. They'll be coming up with their matchups and trying to nullify that threat, along with trying to influence their own game, their own performance on the game. So, you know, it will be interesting. We seem to be tipping Clans early here, but there's a lot of stuff to get through in that 60 minutes to see where our outcome is, and it will be close. It will be close.
The Conor Turbot performance against yourselves, Ciaron, 12 points as Paul mentioned. Yeah. What's it like preparing for a forward like that? Because you know that you're probably only going to limit the damage. You're not going to shut him down completely. So Modern obviously need to get their matchups right, but is the key, and it's easier said than done, just don't let Turbo get the ball, because once he has it, you're in trouble.
The thing about Clonard is their half-back score heavily as well, so yes, Turbo adds a lot to their attack on the scoreboard, but their attacking half-back line, they get on us. I think Redmond French scored against us. Ryan Owens got a point against us as well, along with Daniel McGee and TK and them boys chipping in too. So yes, he scored 12 points against us, but I think there was 2 2-point frees and then maybe 5 just regular frees. So it's the frees that you want to take away from him, because he's so accurate in that sense. Yes, his gameplay is brilliant. He's got power, he's got pace. He can take men on. He can turn you really, really quick. And I think Madden will have someone for that. But yes, I do agree with you. It's damage limitation. Like, he is going to get scores, and sometimes you just have to take that in the chin. Especially if Clonard are going to go early with the early ball, sometimes the defender might have to just say, look, he's won the ball, stand him out, make sure he doesn't score a goal, maybe let him just kick a score. They're the sort of things that might have to come into the defence of Madden whenever he gets on the ball.
I think the last day, for judging both teams on the last day, Barry, we're talking about Turbo getting 12 points out of there. I think we got 17. Modern seem to have maybe a better spread of scores now, as Ciaron points out. Clonard have loads of men that can kick points, but Modern have Niall Grimley, Darren Munn, Conor Grimley, Joe Sheridan, Donal Rafferty come up the field and got a point, so did Niall Smith from wing back. So it's Modern. I know Conor Grimley, All-Star player from Club All-Star winner from last year. He's not scoring as heavily as he has in the past, but they're making up for it because everybody else seems to be chipping in.
They seem to be getting scores all over the field. They seem to be very patient too on their build-up. They can run with pace, but then they will get to a certain area of the field, they will slow it down till they get a man in a position. Very impressed with them doing that. They don't do it all the time, they're not predictable. They could change it, they could do it every so often, which is good. Then they will kick the ball in as well. So yeah, that's a reason why they are getting a spread of scores over the field, and they seem to have worked on that, because there this last couple of years I did say Madden could win a championship, but they seem to don't have that score that's going to get you 10, 12 points like a Cross or Culliana has, and Clevey has it as well, and Clonard obviously. But they seem to have now spread it around the field, which they've worked on, which is great to see. I was saying Madden need to cut a forward out of the hedge, but they actually have spread the scores over the field, which it seemed to have worked on really, really well, and very impressed. They could put up big scores this year in the championship, which I didn't think they could do, which they've proven me wrong now. They have, and they looked actually good, so well impressed with them this year. Well impressed with them.
Yeah, and Paul, that sort of what Barry's talking about, that forward setup, it was very evident again. I know I was working for Armagh TV on the Harps game, so we have a brilliant vantage point just looking down on it, and it was very obvious on them slow attacks. They're trying to find one-on-ones with Joe Sheridan, McMullen, Niall Smith, these boys with pace, coming, breaking a one-on-one, and then they're getting in for an easy score. So as Barry said, that they've obviously worked on that, and it's just something that Clonard's going to have to really think about.
Yeah, I suppose when you're doing a structured attack, I suppose if you do win a counter-attack and your ball slows up maybe, and then the opposition get a good tackle on, slow you, turn you around, then you need to come into your structured attack. And then that's when your coaches is really coming into the play. Like when you set up one side, you might do an overload one side, or maybe load up the full forward line. You see a lot of teams getting 5 and 6 players in and behind the 14, and that sort of stuff, sort of extra space out around the D. So you get a lot of these sort of permutations working, so you get a bit of space, and you get your ball players onto the ball. The likes of the aforementioned guys you mentioned there, Sheridans and the Daras and the Grimleys, who have a bit of power and pace about them. You can beat a man and throw a left leg in and whip it over the bar. So I think it was 25 points they scored in the previous game. So, and as I say, you had a spread of scores. So as we're saying there, they haven't got maybe a cream forward like a Turbo or a Rian O'Neill or something like that. They can score 12 and 15 points a game. So you play what you have to hand your dealt. So you try and get these other players in the game who can chip in with 1, 2 and 3 scores a game. So they've obviously worked very hard at that. The coaching setup has done these structured attacks, worked it very well, got players in the right position and the players on the ball at the right time. So it seems, as Barry says, it's working very well for them. It's proved dividends for them so far, and you'll see more of the same of that against the Clans on Sunday, and it could work for them.
And just before we get predictions, Ciaron, just a word on Darren McMullen, because obviously you've spent the last couple of years with him in the county setup. He's really grown as a county footballer. It was probably his breakthrough year this year, getting a guaranteed starting jersey nearly. Tell us what he brings to Madden and how hard it's going to be for Clonard to stop him.
Yeah, like I think he was going for the first game of the championship, and you know, it was massive. Like you could see the difference right away when he come back in. He slotted right in. He likes to drop deep from half forward, get on the ball and break them lanes and get out of pace. Like, you know, he's been doing it for Armagh, you know, most of this year, and obviously he can get on the scoreboard too. So for Madden, he's huge, especially if they're going to go long. Like, he needs to get in around that break and get them up the field. As Paul had mentioned, you know, they like to take that slow attack, and he's one of them guys that, you know, even when it goes slow, he tries to orchestrate it and be that man on the ball, maybe find them one-on-one and take the score, or bring other players in it, the likes of Joe Sheridan, Smith, Don Rafferty, Ciaron O'Hanlon, them sorts of guys. So for Madden, he's massive, like, I think, anyway. And it'll be good to see him step up. You know, he's probably a leader in that changing room now. You know, there's probably fellas looking around in the changing room going, we need you to step up here. So there's maybe that wee bit of pressure on him to perform this weekend, but like, he's been doing it all year for Armagh, so there's no reason why he can't do it for Madden.
And predictions, Ciaron, come to you first. Who's going to win it?
Honestly, it's you know, on paper you would say Clonard. You know, we found when we went at Clonard, we broke them down in the second half. I feel if Madden do that, and they have the capabilities to do that, definitely, I think they'll really hurt them. In saying that, I still think Clonard are very experienced, well seasoned. You know, they know their game plan down to a T. It's definitely going to be a tight game, but I'll just pip Clonard by the narrowest of margins.
Barry, how do you call it?
Yeah, I think I'm well impressed with Madden this year. I think they can hurt Clonard, and Madden will take a lot of homework off what Cleavey done to Clonard in the second half. They showed that they could get at Clonard. If you play football, you can get at them. But I just think their squad is too strong. I think they can pull 4 or 5 guys off the bench that will come on and will do a job for them, and that could be the difference in winning the game. The subs coming off the bench could win this game, and I think I'm just going to pick Clonard to win it.
Paul, how do you see it?
Yeah, I'm going with the Clans. I think, yeah, as the boys said, they have a lot of strength in every sector of the field. You know, half back, midfield, the forwards. They have the you know, the cream of the crop with Turbo in the forward line, and then they have a supporting cast coming on. They can chip in with their scores from multiple areas of the field. So they probably have that wee bit more than Madden at this stage. It will be a good battle. You want to see Madden's top men, Dara, the Grimleys, and the Sheridans and that coming to the fore with their A game. But at the end of the day, along with a bit of help from the supporting cast and subs of Clans, I think Clans will run out 4 or 5 point winners.
Big one then, Ciaron, is Saturday night, and with a few people in here, so I think they didn't want to hear too much about Clonard and Madden. It's all about Cullyhanna and Cross here. So what a game to look forward to. As a neutral looking in from the outside, it's such an exciting prospect.
Yeah, and like both teams nearly got pipped in the quarters as well, you know. But they'll definitely be well prepared. Not that they weren't well prepared for the quarterfinal, but they'll definitely be honing in on their homework for this game 100%, because it's bragging rights at the kitchen table basically. You know what I mean? How close they are. So yeah, it's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most.
And Barry, I know we were here 12 months ago, talking about the exact same game, and I suppose after the result last year, if you had to give Cullyhanna a crack across, they took the hand off you. So are they chomping at the bit to get at this game?
Boys are confident. They are. I've been talking to some of them, and they're in a good place. They are. They they're looking forward to it. But why would they not be? Like, there's something wrong with you if you didn't want to be. Cross would be the same. Cross would be up for big time. I'm confident they are anyway. But it's going to be a great game. Like, I think it'll be a different game from last year. Completely. It has to be. Cullyhanna has to start fast. Cullyhanna has to go for this. Last year, I thought they were a bit cagey. Cross running to 7 or 8 point lead, and everybody's crawled it back and got back and could have won the game if they had just went at it a wee bit more, had a chance to go for the game. And they were awful disappointed themselves. I know they were. I think this time it's going to be different. I'm hoping it's going to be different, but I think everybody's they're ready for it.
Just on last year, Barry, because I suppose what the fast start is something you mentioned. Is that something Cullyhanna's going to take away because they haven't? I suppose they've come from behind to win all their championship games this year. So, is that quick start? It went against them last year against Cross. If that had, maybe even broke even in the first half or only been a couple of points down, it would have been a different story maybe in the second half. But is that something that's going to be discussed this week?
It has to be discussed this week. It has to be. They have to go for it. They have to play the ball. They have to hit. Aidan Nugent has to get that ball. Our forwards, we have serious forwards in there. We have scoring forwards if they're used properly, and the ball has to go into them. Mullabhan come back and beat them before 5 points. We get out of jail against St Peters. If you had asked me 15 minutes ago in that game, we were gone. St Peters were playing better football than us. We couldn't stop them. They had a chance to go 8 9 points clear, and they missed them, and they left it open for us. And everybody started to play football. They let the ball in, they were smart on the ball, and they crawled it back. And actually should have won the game in normal time and got in next time. And knew next time St Peters' legs went, and they sort of didn't know how to finish the game out, and then they run out of gas, and everybody's very fit. And that's fitness-wise, and their footballing skills actually won the game for them in the end. They have to go for it this time. Cross, you can't. Cross, go 7-8 up again, Cross will beat you. And that's simple as that. They have the forwards to do it, and they have the men that'll slow the game down and on their terms. So this time Cullyhanna has to go for it. This is it, like.
This is it. Paul, is there that feeling in Cross McGlen, or how does everybody feel about it?
Yeah, listen, the feeling in Cross McGlen is the same as any other semi-final, I suppose. It's there to be won. It's Cullyhanna again this year. We know each other inside out. Probably the same with a lot of clubs in South Armagh. We know the threat that Cullyhanna pose. They're serious forwards, as Barry said. But I think with Cullyhanna, the problem this season probably is stringing together a consistent performance. That it's very intermittent. It's it's sports and bits and pieces here and there, and they're doing enough to get over the line. The Peters just went extra time. The Oaks, I think, Mullabhan, whatever they played. They were coming from behind in all these games, and they're having trouble maybe starting well and getting cohesive performances throughout the 60 minutes. So they'll be aiming for that there. Every team probably aims from a real good start. Last year we benefited because we had a good 7 or 8 point start. There's no team going into a championship match is not saying, lads, we need a good start. Everybody's looking the first 10 minutes to blow them out of the water or get some sort of gripping on a game. And sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. The occasion get the players, someone gets a hit, an injury happens, takes the flow out of the game. There's all these certain things, but it's the team with the mental strength and a bit of focus, that hunger, and that can keep their focus on the ball and on the performance and what was been said, and knocking out like headless chickens and letting the occasion get to them. So that's all the things that'll go towards a good performance this weekend. And Cross have been there before, done that. A lot of players very experienced. Same as Cullyhanna. Cullyhanna All Ireland, maybe champions. And it was the same crack. It takes something to spark Cullyhanna in action, it seems, in these games. Something happens, an incident, and then the next thing they put their shoulder to the wheel and they start kicking the ball in and playing a real good brand of football, which they're very capable of, and which Cross has to be very wary of as well, because they have dangerous players all over the field. And opportunistic players, like you see what Ross done last week with that lob from 60 yards. Like, who'd be thinking that? Like, I had a chat with Ross after and says, see you lobbing keepers, and he says, I told him to do it too. So it was in his head, because the keeper was coming out floating around the arc or something. So you have players like that there playing off the cuff, which is great to see, not just stuck in the one sort of set in stone game plan and not allowed to this, not allowed to that, blah blah. But listen, it's a great occasion. The town's hyped up for it. Cullyhanna, I'm sure that's the same down there. Looking forward to a clinker.
I suppose, Ciaron, going into this game for Cross, from their last performance, they've Oisin O'Neill back in, got a full game under him. Ciaron O'Hanlon come back in, Oran Kieran come back in. The only Rico Kelly played, I think, as well. He come off the bench. James Morgan didn't. He's the only one but 3 weeks. You'd imagine he's going to be hopefully ready to go. So Cross look to be fully fit now at the right time of the year.
Yeah, they look like they're getting their main players back at the right time. Especially Oisin and Callum, like two big players for them. Influential players that sort of keep, like Oisin orchestrates everything for them, you know. So getting 60 minutes into his legs is massive across. But yeah, look, they're in the driving seat. They're in a good position. You know, Cullyhanna are going to miss Pierce Casey around the middle. A huge miss for them. Especially the way the two teams play, they like to kick the ball long, you know, so there'll be that fight for primary possession around the middle, and Cullyhanna, you know, with Pierce being gone, it's going to be hard for them. And like the last cross against Carcroppen, Rain had to come out around the middle to start winning primary possession for them, so it'll be interesting to see, you know, with the kickouts, it's a massive part of the game at the minute, with the new rules and stuff, so I think whoever gets on top and builds momentum for there, that'll definitely go a long way in winning this game.
Just on Pierce Casey, Barry, obviously you played for years alongside him in midfield at times. And when it came to Pierce, obviously football was on the back burner. He was him being okay was the most important thing. But from a footballing perspective, how big of a miss? Not only in terms of kick out and his presence in the middle of the field, but in terms of his leadership at training, in the changing rooms. Like how big of a miss is he going to be?
Pierce, massive miss to everybody in the middle of the field. Massive miss. Like he gives everything. Like you know, it's an awful fortunate thing that happened to him, and hopefully he's on the mend and he's home and that stuff. So hopefully everything's going to be okay for him. I know myself, Pierce, if he could tog out on Saturday night, he'd be togging out. That's one of the first things he said anyway about getting back. But massive miss to us, a massive leader. You know, great captain, a gentleman, very, very quiet fella. You know, really nice person, and he's going to be a massive miss to our boys. But it's an opportunity for somebody else. That is the way the boys have to look at it. It's bad for a couple of weeks after what happened to him and all. The club was worried about him, but it's now an opportunity for some of the other boys to step up, and they have to step up and do it for him. Like this is it for them. Like, you know, big miss to us. But there's other leaders there. Like we've leaders in the field. We've experienced players all over the field there as well. As Paul was saying, like there's experienced players there. There's good leaders there. So they'll take the mantle from where Pierce left off. These boys will pick it up. So, but he will be a miss in the middle. No question about that.
Probably one of those leaders, Paul, that really I felt stepped up the last day was Jason Duffy. Even when St Peter's were on top, Duffy was still back, winning turnovers, kicking important scores, working really hard. So he seems to fill that void now. He's obviously not the same type of player as Pierce Casey, but he's an option for kickouts as well. He seems to be playing around the middle of the field. Yeah,
he seemed to be, you know, with the county, he seemed to be playing a lot around number 8 and that there. You don't have to say about Jason, like I think he's going from strength to strength and around the middle there. He's had a fantastic year, be it county, and now he's continued that on with the club, and he's really, really instrumental in everything that Cullyhanna do, and he's going to be, you know, a real handful on Saturday. So you know, been very impressed. You know, he's one of the key players for Cullyhanna. We'll have to be kept a real eye on, along with obviously Aidan, who's been scoring very heavily in there. As Barry says, if you're getting good ball into Aidan Nugent, he knows where the posts are, and he'll put you to the sword. You know, he's ably helped by, you know, the likes of Ross and that bit of pace and power. But that's the thing, you know, Cullyhanna need to use that and maybe use the ball a wee bit more into these guys who are good finishers and, you know, have that ability. But you know, just to answer your question, yeah, very impressive. Jason Duffy, he's been coming on leaps and bounds every season, and you know, he's been very instrumental in everything, and be a very important factor in the game on Saturday.
In terms of matchups, Ciaron, I was trying to plan the matchups earlier. You have Aidan Nugent, probably cross. Chris Curley marked him last year. He's not there. The three other candidates are maybe James Morgan, Rico Kelly, and Ciaron O'Hanlon. All three just coming back from injuries. So Is there an obvious match up there for somebody to stop Aidan Nugent?
So we don't know, and even if they do have someone from the form that he's in, I think he's kicked 329 or something to date. He's going to be hard stopped. So whoever Cross put on him, it could be the same as we were talking about Turbo. Could just be damage limitation. In saying that though, Cullyhanna rely heavily on him for scores. Which is massive for Cross because if they can nullify him, then they're going a long way in winning this game. But Aidan's got that mental toughness to step up, and whoever goes out and marks him, he'll take them on, and he's not afraid to shoot. And even if he misses, he'll shoot and shoot and shoot. We've seen it against Mullaban in the championship. He missed one or two easy ones, and then he kicks one from right around the sideline. So, he backs himself to the hilt, believes in his ability. I think whoever goes on Aidan Nugent from Cross would have to be on their A game because he's in great form and his confidence has to be high.
Barry, in terms of Cullyhanna's matchups, there's not many fairs to put out with Cross and Glen. We now have 3 O'Neills, obviously, with Ciaron McConville, you've Rowan Fitzpatrick kicked 5 points the last day. Sean O'Gurwin usually goes to Ciaron McConville, but the other matchups maybe not just as obvious. Is Jason Duffy going to have to go in one of the O'Neills, do you think?
I think Jason, personally, I would put Jason Rain.
Yeah.
So I would. I would put Sean Connell and Oisín. Compete with him. Sean and give Oisín his fill of it, and Rain and Jason, I think that's an obvious. Rain really doesn't play, he plays out all over the field. Jason Duffy's well fit to do that and put him on the back foot. Jason will run all day, kick scores, catch ball, he's exceptional for us day of the year. I think that to me that would be a match up there. I don't know, he'll take watching too, he good to get in behind the defence there, good player, good lad. Ronan Fitzpatrick obviously for kicking 2 pointers. See, that's another thing, Crosses that all over the field too. You can kick 2 pointers, they have 4 or 5 boys that can kick them. So Cullyhanna everybody's have to watch out for that as well. So I would like to be Stephen Real, to be honest. The minute in time trying to work out what he's going to do, so it's going to be good,
The 2 point threats Paul Barry talked about, obviously the 2 O'Neills, Oisín and Rain are the 2 obvious ones, but you have Fitzpatrick there, you have Stephen Morris there, Thomasky kicked 2 pointers, Ciaron McConville obviously he's very good at, maybe not in terms of a 2 point threat, but coming deep and then just using that pace. And Ciara Cruppen a couple of times just really found it hard to stop him once he got ahead of steam. So there's a lot of attacking quality on that team. There's
a lot of that too, and you need a lot of. Who do you put in Rain, who do you put in Ronan, who do you put in Oisín? You need good men for these men. So you put your best marker on Rain, you put your best marker, your second best man on Oisín, you put your third best on Cian. Is that an insult? You know what I mean? So that's the thing, man. I think we were talking about Jason Duffy and the influence he's had, but I think the influence Cian McConville has had since he's come back from the county this year, he's been absolutely fantastic for the club. The way he's went about his business and he's played his games and all attacking sort of style, very robust, very strong, very fast, can kick a score from anywhere, and that needs serious watching on Sunday, along with the 3 O'Neills. Aaron's come into the fold now at this stage and very dangerous inside. He seems to play up there in the full forward line and he's a good target man, along with the likes of young Aaron Haughey, who I think's been sensational as well, coming in as a young minor, at that age, showing a lot of maturity and a lot of experience, which he doesn't have. He slipped right in there and performed very well. And Ronan Fitzy is always, what a Rolls Royce of a player. If you had a right foot like him every day of the week, but he'll take watching. But we have to get into these positions to take these scores and have a bit of pace and the power to beat, the defenders or the markers that Cullyhanna's going to put on them. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully the conditions will play a major part. I think it's settling down obviously this week after the weekend we've had. So if we can get a good calm day and a good sort of decent day for football, hopefully a real good clinker of a game develops.
In terms of all them men that we're talking about in the cross attack, Ciaron, is it easier to just try to play a zone defence and whoever's closest to Ciaron McConville or Rowan Fitzpatrick has to pick them up? Because if you're going out and you have to have 4 or 5 man markers, it's very hard to get them in any team.
It depends what way you play. You know, if you haven't played zone all year and then you're changing all of a sudden, I know they've had time to prepare, but it's hard to get that work done in a short space of time. But like, I think Cullyhanna are well capable of doing that. They've done that before. Obviously, Ciaron McKeever's, you know, master of defence. You know, so he'll have a plan put in place for what they're going to face. I think personally you're going to have to go toe to toe with some of them boys. You know, we've touched on the 2-pointer threat that Cross pose. So like, Cullyhanna have to be on them, on their diving on their foot whenever they're pulling the trigger. I think that's massive. But you know, I think the Cross will be trying to, you know, isolate them one-on-ones, maybe the likes of Keane and maybe Ronan Fitzpatrick and these boys, even Aaron O'Neill, and just let them take their men on and clip easy scores early, you know. And like, that's probably the big thing in Cross's favour is the 2-pointers. And like Paul was talking about there, if there's a big wind at all, like, rain could kick them over from midfield if we wanted, you know. So we'll have to see what the weather brings, but Cullyhanna are going to have to you know, batten down the hatches and play really, really tight together and work and move together to try and limitate Cross's scoring opportunities. And
just, I know we mentioned Ross McCollum at the start, but we probably didn't go heavy on him in terms of the year he's had, because he was sensational for Armagh this year and obviously got an All-Star nomination, well deserved of it too. The new rules seem to suit him, and that pace he has, that directness he has, like that's he's just playing into the new rules, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, the new rules suit him down on the ground, especially him coming from deep there. Like, he's the fastest man I've ever seen carrying a ball. He would give you a defender.
Keep up on him now.
In a car. He would give a defender a nightmare. But he's actually very good on the ball, and he has good feet, unlike his father before him. So he has, but yeah, he's a massive threat for us. If he's on his game, he'll cause Cross an awful bother. But he has to be on his game, and his discipline is key. But definitely, I'd rather have him than not have him. You know, you're on Roman's probably been a Rolls Royce of a player. Ross would be like that. Like, you know, I know we've Aidan Nugent, obviously, our scoring machine, but Ross can change the game like that there if he wants, and he can. But he'd be up for it. He will definitely be up for it.
And Paul, we spoke about the Clonard bench and how that could be a game changer. I don't think either side really seems to have the upper hand in terms of the subs here. And we were talking about the Cross subs bench last week in terms of James Morgan. Morgan didn't play. Comiskey, Rico Kelly, Warren Kieran. We're sort of assuming here that they're all starting. So do you think Cross have the upper hand in terms of the subs?
I can tell you, but I'll have to kill you. But a bit like that there, you know, I think Shane Lennon and is coming into, as you said, Cross coming in a good spell now, because they have had a lot of injuries. Oisín was out for a long time, Callum Comiskey out, and then boys come back, James Morgan, you know, hell of players to have, you know, up your sleeve. If they're not ready, maybe we get 20 minutes out of James or something, or the same with Rico or something like that there, you know. So really good experienced players to come into the fold if he doesn't start them. Good lads maybe to get 40 minutes out of, and then bring on, you know, some of the younger guys who can come in and do a job. Yeah, Cross will probably have a good start in 15, and after that there, you know, they've decent players, but they've no real probably stars coming off the bench because they're all playing. It's hard probably to get that, you know, at a club or any club for that matter, because of just, it's a numbers game, isn't it? But they've decent bench, and probably the same with Cullyhanna. So much of a likeness like for like coming on at the same time. So yeah, they will make a difference, but who'll make the bigger difference will probably be on the day, depending on who starts.
I'm trying to think Cullyhanna's bench. Keelan Reevy was a big player to come in the last day.
Yeah, he was in America for a while, so when he came home and they've been using him off the bench.
Very quick as well.
Very quick. He could start, I don't know. Most likely to be an impact sub, I'd say. He seemed to be happy with the boys that are starting, and then they like having someone coming off the bench going to change the game. It's like him, you know. Neil McCreesh coming on there. Jamie Quinn gets a run out. You know, Jamie be a good enough man on the ball. You know, a couple of good wee footballers there. Like there was Cahill Burns has come into the team this year. He's only a minor. Very, very good. Donica Gribbon's another one. You know, a couple of good lads there coming on. As Paul says, like, it's our 15 best players most likely on the field, but if Ciaron starts or not, like, he would be probably one of our good best players as well. But it's they're all on the field basically. That's what you see is what you're going to get. Yeah. You know, but it'd be good to see, like.
On predictions time then, Paul, will come to you first and see how you see it going.
Well, I foresee just going through basically what we've spoken about, the pros of Cross. I think I'm going to go for Cross, obviously. No point batting away from that one.
No.
But my reason being, I think we've more scorers across the field. I think we've a bigger scoring threat. I think we've a bigger 2-point threat. I think, you know, Aaron O'Neill, the three O'Neills, Sirius Govan, Ronan Fitzpatrick, we mentioned Stephen Morris, Caleb coming back into the fold, hopefully. You know, them guys, and they got good defensive setup. And if you get a match up straight, keep Aidan as quiet as we possibly can. Watch out for the runs from, you know, obviously Ross keeping his pace. If we can shore him out to the sideline and not let him make a dink inside and create goal chances. So if we keep the goals out from Cullyhanna, the goal threat, I'd say we can do it by 3, 4, 5 points.
Barry, you're the opposite.
Yeah. I think if our boys go at it, if our boys play football, shackles off, go for it, I think we can punish Cross defence. I think we can get at them. I honestly don't think they've anybody that can mark Aidan Nugent. That's my honest opinion. Unless they're going to ask some man back that's retired, I don't know. I don't think they've anybody to mark him. Just the form that he's in at the minute. And if some of our other boys step up and chip in with a couple of scores, if Ross is on his game, I think, and if we can stop them from scoring 2 pointers, 2 pointers will be massive for Cross, especially with Oisin and Ray and Ronan Fitzpatrick. I think if we nullify that, our boys will not be far away. I do think it's going to be tight. I do think it's going to be a different game than last year. Obviously, rules and stuff has changed and all that there. I think it'll be a better game. I think it could go to extra time though. That's some call on that. It could. And I'd fancy our boys thread Cross in the extra time.
Possible draw and then Cullyhanna win then.
I think so.
Ciaron purposely left you last because we for the deciding vote here.
Well, I am going to go for the draw. That's why I was a bit surprised at that, you know, last comment there. I just think it's going to be so tight. It's going to be a shootout, I think. You know, if Cullyhanna can get at Cross, and you know, if they can get that defensive structure set, turn them over and really go at them, I think they will really punish them. But as you know, if we've talked about there, Cross have so many scoring threats, and that will be hard to nullify. So I think it's going to be a ding dong battle. I'm going to call a draw, and I think it's just going to be a shootout. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully it's as good as we have built it up to be.
I hope so.
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting. So that's all, folks. That's our preview show wrapped up. We have Clonard and Madden on Friday night. We have Cross and Cullyhanna on Saturday night. Both games live on Armagh TV. We'll be back with a review show. Hopefully on Saturday night, maybe we'll look back at the two games, and two games that should be crunching ties. So we'll chat to everybody then.